Olympus made cameras for 84 years before the production was transferred or sold actually to OM Digital Solutions. Among that 84 years, Olympus made a few pretty quirky cameras, and 8 of them coming up. Hi there, my name is Peter Forsgård and I am a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And before we start going over those 8 quirky Olympus cameras, I want to thank Rob Trek for the idea for this video, and I will put a link to his channel in the description of this video. So after you watch this video, go to his channel and subscribe to his channel. He makes some good Olympus videos. But let's start with the first one. Olympus MDN. This was actually the first Olympus SLR, but it was never brought to production because OM1 took over. But the MDN was an interesting concept camera because it was a modular camera and it looked like a medium format camera. And it would have been interesting if Olympus had gone through with this because it is quite an interesting project. And number 2, Olympus HZ4 Zoom. This space-age looking camera was actually made by Ricoh, and it was also featured in Batman, the movie from 1989. Number 3, O product from 1988. This all aluminum body had a very odd shape, and it also had a flashlight that was also a pretty odd shape, but it was, as a combination, it looked pretty great. And this was made for celebrating the 70th year of Olympus Corporation. And there were only 20,000 pieces made, 10,000 for international market and 10,000 for Japanese market. And number 4, Olympus ECRU, another concept camera that is even more odd looking than the O product. This was also a limited edition camera, 20,000 pieces made, and 10,000 for international and 10,000 for Japanese market. And Olympus said about this camera, and I quote, "Use it as tool for intelligently living a natural life like a cloth that is not exposed to the ground." No idea what that means. And the word ECRU means generation. And number 5, Robe IR500. Olympus called it Dock and Done. It has a dedicated docking station where you could store the images to the hard drive, you could print the images from that, and also the camera had a 360 swiveled LCD, so it was a very good camera for selfies, and with the docking station you could print them right away. Number 6, Camedia T-100HS. This is actually not a camera, but it is a communication transmitter. You could attach this transmitter to a certain Olympus cameras and you could transfer your images straight from the camera via a telephone line to somewhere. So you did not need a computer to transfer your images to somewhere. They didn't talk about cloud that time, but let's say to a news agency. And number 7, Olympus Ferrari Digital. There were 2 models, one from 2003 and one from 2004, which I happen to have. And at the time, Olympus was sponsoring Scuderia Ferrari Formula 1 team. And it makes a pretty good sound when you turn it on. Before we go to the 8th quirky Olympus camera, I will have 2 extra items that are not that quirky but are really interesting. And number 8, Olympus Air A01. This is an interesting concept camera too, which was a open flat platform camera, and they had some hack and make things for this camera to be used in different ways. So Olympus experimented a open source camera, but it never got into a real production, and it's really hard to get. I've been looking for one for many years, but haven't succeeded of finding any of these. But this was a full camera. You attach a lens to it, it has its own sensor, and then you used your mobile phone as a viewfinder and operating the camera. Very interesting concept. And before we continue into the 2 extra items that I promised, what do you think so far? Do you have any of these cameras? And what do you think? What was the oddest camera on my list? And did I miss anything? Please let us know in the comments down below. And then the 2 special items. Olympus and NASA has made some cooperation over the years. In 1980, Olympus made a special version of OM1 that was supposed to be used in a space shuttle program. To be honest, I'm not really sure if it was ever used and taken to space, but Olympus made 5 of these customized OM1 cameras that was supposed to be used in space. And it has some advantages over Hasselblad that has been used in space before. It was a lot smaller, and also because they say that focusing in space is for some reason a bit harder to do. With the smaller form factor of the film, they had more depth of field, and that's why it was very appealing to NASA. And there is a link in the description of this video if you want to know more about all these special OM1 camera. And the special item number 2 has to do with something with space. EM3 was taken to the International Space Station. It was a Japanese astronaut. And they also made a special lens cap for that. And here are some more videos about the history of Olympus. It's the 100 facts of Olympus, and the second one is the best cameras Olympus has ever made. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.